Let's work to simplify fractions. Now, when we're simplifying fractions, we need to find common factors. That is a number that divides evenly into the numerator and the denominator. That's what a factor is. It goes into the number evenly. So let's do some examples and talk through this. If we have 8 over 10 and we need to simplify this, some people also say we need to reduce. So you're looking at what number can I divide into the numerator and denominator evenly. And here's the thing about simplifying fraction. You can do this as many times as you want. So some people say, well, you have to find the greatest common factor. I mean, that makes your life easier. But if you start with really big numbers, sometimes it's easy to just start with what do you see? Now, anytime I look at a numerator and denominator and see even numbers, I know that I can divide by a common factor of 2. So oftentimes I will start there just to make things a little easier. So 8 divided by 2 is 4, 10 divided by 2 is 5. Are there any factors that go into 4 and 5 evenly? Nope, that's it. So the simplified fraction would be 4/5. 56 over 96. Now these are a lot bigger. So again, I would look at this and say, well, they both end in 6. That means they're even. So I can divide the top and the bottom by 2. Is this the largest factor? Absolutely not. Is it the easiest one? I think it is to start with. So 56 divided by 2 is 28, and 96 divided by 2 is 48. Now from here, you might see something else. I'm all about what makes your life easier. So again, I see that these are even, so I can divide by 2 again. And 28 divided by 2 is 14. 48 divided by 2 is 24. You might be seeing a theme, but that means I can divide by 2 again, and I end up with 7/12. And that's my final answer. Now, one thing to show, if we would have from the beginning said, hey, those are divisible by 8. There's your 7/12. So whether you do, right, so that means 8 would be the greatest common factor, you get the same answer. It doesn't matter how many steps it takes you. So it's all about just working until you get to that final fraction where there are no common factors in the numerator and denominator. Now let's look at one where we don't have even numbers. So we know 2 is not a common factor. In the numerator, it ends in a 5, but we have a 9, so it's not 5. 15 and 39, hopefully you recognize both of these are divisible by 3. Now, simplifying fractions is made easier if you know your divisibility rules and if you're really good at multiplying, right? When you know your multiplication facts really well, it makes simplifying fractions a lot easier. So when I reduce, so 15 divided by 3 is 5, and 39 divided by 3 is 13. Here is my simplified fraction. Let's do just one more. 24 over 40. Now you could start by saying they're both even, I can go by 2, but I also know that 24 and 40 are both divisible by 4. They're also both divisible by something else. So again, it doesn't matter what you start with. So 24 divided by 4 is 6, 40 divided by 4 is 10. So now I can divide by 2, and I end up with 3/5. So you might have noticed with 24 over 40, if you started with 8, you would end up with 3/5. So here's the thing. It doesn't matter what you start with. When you look at a fraction, your main goal is to find something that goes into both of them evenly. And as soon as you see something, go with it. Because when you divide, whether you're starting with 4, 8, or 2, all of those go in evenly, it's going to make your fraction smaller. And when you're working with smaller numbers, it's a whole lot easier to see common factors. So if you look at 2 things and they're even and you want to divide by 2, do it, because it'll make your fraction smaller. It'll make things a little easier for you. If you'd like some more help or some more videos, you can always visit my website at themenningroup.com, or feel free to email me at info@themenningroup.com. I do tutor. Thanks.